Through the war, the Huey and all its variations was continually adapted to counter the mounting aggression of the enemy. In 1967, though, a new Huey was born. It was the Huey Cobra, and it was the first helicopter specifically designed as a weapon.
This is living legend, Morgan Mills. Say hi, Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
He's going to show us his Cobra gunship helicopter conversion here, and this is the F model, and you can tell by the angle windows you're saying, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And I used to have fire control computers in there and everything for the rockets and the missiles, depending on the configuration. The nose, instead of the flare ball, had a 20mm 3-barrel Gatling gun, 700 rounds per minute, if I remember right. Wings, normal configuration, had about 19-shot rocket pod in the middle, and on the end had 4 tow missiles or Hellfire later on. Again, the air data had an air data sensing unit that's not on this one anymore, and a fire control computer. So instead of firing rockets where you used to do Kentucky windage, or that's about all you were doing, the computer takes care of all your wind data and everything else. And put the pipper where it is, shoot off the rockets, and they'll go exactly where you want it.
But now today you got 2 of these, and you're using them for like a helicopter air attack platform. It's kind of like a helicopter version of the OV-10, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this is Forest Service owned and DynCorp contract maintenance.
Contract maintenance and half the pilots, so let's put it that way.
And so the missions, you got initial air attack, you got FLIR, and the mapping and the data link,
live link, downlink, and or recording all the way around. Lots of radios. There's 7 major radios in the aircraft, of which you really got, I can't count them, 15 frequencies you can listen to at any one time or have to respond to. Of course, nobody can do that.
And it's you're in the back seat driving, and then your air attack guys in the front seat managing all that.
Yeah, the front seat was built mainly for a co-pilot gunner. In fact, when Bell first asked the Army if they wanted one, the Army said, "Oh, we don't need a pilot in the front seat. We'll just let some sergeant gunner be up there." And of course, after somebody dies in the back seat, there's nobody left to drive, so they went, "Oh, okay, let's put a co-pilot up front." So the co-pilot gunner was up front, and later it was a missile guy that managed the missile system, and he could also manage the gun. The guy in the back managed either the gun or the rockets, but not the tow type of missile. That was all done from the front seat.
And you did 2 tours of duty in Vietnam as a gunship operator.
Actually, one tour was as a slick driver or utility.
Okay.
And the second tour was a gunship.
Driver. And so you got involved with these Cobras on that second tour? Yeah. All right.
And so anyhow, that's the guy in the back, in the front, does all the work. I'm cycling on the air conditioning off and on.
You're
all.
just driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or unless I'm mad at him.
You let them cook a little bit, huh? Let's take a look on the inside.
This is the air attack officer position, and all that real estate up there on the dashboard has been rearranged quite a bit from the military, so we could fit all this in. In fact, a lot of stuff that didn't get fit in. So you've got a moving map display up there that's got your wax or your sectionals, your IFR maps, your road maps, nautical maps, all kinds of maps. We even threw a 496 in there because we didn't have weather. Flying through Texas, we needed weather. So, of course, that's been upgraded since then even more. Moving some of the normal instruments over there. Again, this is not a pilot's position at all anymore. So I left the controls in and the major gauges in case we, as an instructor pilot, I'd be up here doing it. Radios, of course, you got 3 FMs and 3 AMs in here. capable,
Mm-hmm.
along with, of course, your old handy pack set.
Mm-hmm.
Keyboard, slide out.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Down there.
Mm-hmm.
And after all the money we put in there, the best thing we could, touch screens and everything else. If you ever try and touch a
Touchscreen and bouncing around
a helicopter,
force
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we put in an $8.95
mouse.
over there.
Yes, look at that.
And it works.
And it works. All right.
So that's base. This guy up here again does all the work. He's an air attack group supervisor. He coordinates all the air and ground stuff. Or he's in Helco, again, coordinate air and ground stuff. Or he's mapping, or he's whatever else I said, doing the infrared work, or doing a live link. I'll flip a few switches, but much more than that, it's all his work. Back here, we can go to the other side. You can see more of it.
Here's your ball right here with the latest.
That's the latest, greatest.
So that does FLIR and video feed.
Yeah, this one.
That's I can see it down there.
You can see it from the back a little bit better. It's got a IR illuminator in there, which is night goggle work.
But you're not flying at night. You're doing FLIR during the day.
We're not doing goggles at night. We still do a little work at night.
But this FLIR is so sensitive that it works just fine during the day.
It does.
Yeah.
You can adjust the.
And this is where you get those nicely detailed fire maps like we were looking at yesterday, is with this FLIR kind of data.
Yeah, and so there's a laser illuminator, laser range finder in there, which is very important to our work. Just point it and it stays on the number there while I'm doing loops and rolls. Nobody gets sick. A color camera in there for regular color, so you'll be switching back and forth, so the guy on the ground can see that's a green tree over there. When you go to IR, it's a gray tree, and you don't see this, that, and the other thing.
So you can live feed to the van down there, and folks on the ground can see what's going on.
Yep, we can do that, or the little suitcase in the side here.
Your golf clubs. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the one. Oh, okay, so that's the portable set you can drop on the top of the mountain.
Just throw it out to you on the top of the mountain. You can sit out there in the shade, and I can go over to the other side of the fire and show you everything that's going on over there. And then or we've already recorded it on a thumbstick, or we've sent it live down to that van over there. And that's probably 2.7 hours of fuel if I'm hard charging.
Right.
3.7 if I'm really lucky on economy cruise. Need a little bit more to soothe everybody, but can't soothe everybody. Up here, basically a smaller TV set back here, just so I know what he's looking at. Same radios, same avionics package that any other aircraft has. Than any other good aircraft package has.
You're all IFR too, looks like.
Oh yeah. Although this is not certified IFR, either in the Army or civilian.
All right.
Even though Army, because they only had one generator.
Oh right.
So although we were trained to use, of course, the IFR. And let's see. And the most important switch is right here. That's the air conditioner.
There you go. You get some heat going under this
thing
greenhouse.
Will actually spit out snowballs.
Nice.
Really, really good. And everything else is just wires, bundles of wires, and so on. Back of the seat is air conditioned. The bottom of the seat's air conditioned. Wow. Which makes a hell of a lot of difference from normal helicopter flying, because you don't know how much you're sweating and fatiguing with that heat.
Bouncing around that heat down low.
Everything else is just simple. Basically, the Cobra was built around a Huey. They just squeezed the body and put guns on it. And this is just an outgrowth of it. Latest outgrowth, single engine, 1800 shaft horsepower back there. I can't get it into trouble.
Yeah.
I don't have any payload to haul around.
Yeah, you got this pretty well stripped down. If there was any ornament or armor plating, that's all gone.
Yep, it's all gone.
Yeah.
The wiring that was in the military capstan wiring that was in there was worth 500 pounds by itself.
Whew.
And so we stripped all that. We got these things from about 7,300 pounds in the Army for this one sitting at 6055 right now without fuel. Then 1,800 pounds worth of fuel, two people. I still have all kinds of
Reserve left over power. Yeah.
I don't even make out a load calculation except for 7,000 feet and 40 degrees. So I don't have to worry about power.
Density, altitude.
Normally don't have to worry about power or anything like that.
Yeah, you're not even getting close to there on the old torque meter.
Yeah. And trying to think what else. Anyhow, it's been pretty good. And of course, it's a fun aircraft to fly. It's very aerobatic, let's call it.
Yeah.
You don't want to call it acrobatic.
Yeah.
Very aerobatic.
Highly maneuverable.
There you go. But it's a two-bladed rotor system, and that can get you in trouble really fast.
In what respect?
Well, one thing, if that mast, of course, gets bumped
a
couple times, about 2 times it gets bumped and the blade's going to leave.
Yeah. And they would get bumped by
where the mast hits
inside of the prop there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're banging around with too much maneuvering.
Yeah. You can see it's just about there now with it tied down.
Yeah, so it'd be like about the limit.
Yeah. And it does take about 1, 2, or 3 bounces against that and you're finished.
You're done, yeah.
And so it's non-acrobatic, limited to this, that, and the other thing like anywhere else. But it really can do stuff. If some people have done stuff that probably you'd be amazed at. And but the two-bladed system, another thing, there's a couple other oddities where you can actually get into, it's called pitch cone coupling. In a way, it's mushing. So this thing will dive at 190 knots.
Okay.
And in the first year of Vietnam in 1967, the pilots found out the hard way that when you pull up, it might not pull up. You're trying to pull up, but you're actually taking pitch out of your blades. It's
in the effort to pull up, huh?
The aerodynamic phenomena of pitch cone coupling. And you're just gonna
mush that thing right in.
You're just gonna drive yourself into the ground.
Right into the ground. God damn.
So you got most pilots understand that very well. So and unfortunately, like I said, the first few didn't realize it.
Right.
So this thing will do 190 knots in a dive, and you shoot all your rockets. Of course, you have a little profile when you're diving straight at somebody that's shooting at you. And
you want to follow that profile, not get into that steep dive and pull out kind of situation.
It will not. I cannot power it across from point A to point B in level flight at 190 knots. One, it's way too uncomfortable. It really, this one will start shaking pretty bad about 155, 165 knots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too rough.
And what's shaking, the rotor system or the airframe?
It's just, each blades are kind of finely balanced, if you will, and things start to get out of balance, if you will. So somewhere around 160 knots, you're just going to slow down. And if you're going to go 190 knots, you've got to have power off. I mean, you can't have full power in. You're in a dive, and so you don't. It's not as rough. It's not rough.
Now, when you're cruising getting to back and forth to a fire, what kind of speeds are you?
Probably taking it easy, about 140, 50.
Oh, that's clipping along quite fast for a helicopter.
Yeah.
Really fast.
And And then as soon as I get on a fire, initial attack or otherwise, I'm going to ease back in economy cruise, because all I got to do is go around in a circle.
Yeah, you want to save your fuel at that point. Yeah. Huh.
Everything else is really basic helicopters.
Yeah.
The only other thing I haven't mentioned is Max Viz, which is another little IR deal. Which was
Is that this guy up here? Yeah.
The beer can up here.
Yeah. What's he do?
It was really built for a little unlighted airport like this for airplane drivers, so that they could come in. They wouldn't hit the deer that's on the unlit thing. So
I need to get me one of those.
Make those. They were. I think that one was quite expensive because it was brand new at the time. Probably, I'm going to, if I remember right, somewhere around 50,000. Now they're down to hardly anything. But those are well worth it. As far as lights, fog, smoke, which made money for us. And that's my backup in case that guy's not looking straight out.
Okay.
I can have him caged, and I'll have a full IR picture out front
of what you're flying through, and he can concentrate on his work.
Yeah. So if I'll get caught in smoke.
Yeah.
We played a little too much in smoke with this thing. So I'll have that on, ready to back me up the minute I get in that. Should I get into that smoke? Don't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It happened. So it's just a good safety device. I'd have one on any airplane I could afford.
Yeah, that's a neat device. So you're able to get these surplus at a very reasonable cost, and then of course upgrade them to your standard.
These cost exactly nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a federal excess property transfer.
All right.
From one government entity, in this case the Army, to the other, in this case Forest Service. So they didn't cost us anything. The rebuild, this one costs $330,000 as it sits. Only it's got a better paint job. The first paint job the military did. They were lucky. They didn't even know how to do anything except OD.
Yeah.
So I said, how about a little white? How about a little orange and a little yellow? And they decided to do it. Only cost $5,000 for the paint job.
Wow.
But it was kind of orange peely. It wasn't the greatest. This is the second paint job.
Yeah, it looks good.
Professional.
And it's held up well too over the years. Yeah.
And
well, that's living aviation legend Morgan Mills celebrating
a little bit.
50 years, right, of helicopter flying, starting with those first 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. My old boss, Morgan Mills. We're here at Nevada County Airport checking out his Cobra.
And I just got back from a cruise.
Now you can't retire. It's just
no, not after that cruise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you spent all your money.
My wife did.
Yeah. Back to work.
Yeah.
There's something happening here.